Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and it is that time of year. It is the most wonderful time of the year if you happen to be a game developer, because right now it is GDC, and right out of the gate, the first news we have, news sort of I guess, is that Unity is making enemies. Yes, that's a terrible pun, but Unity just released this new teaser trailer for their upcoming real-time demonstration of the capabilities of what Unity can do going forward. This is the graphical capability showcase of the Unity engine. They did one of these last GDC as well. The entire premise behind this is that they can basically be as photorealistic as possible, creating human-type characters. There's also a blog post about this, sort of the technology behind it. Eventually, we are going to be getting our hands on this demo itself so we can run it and melt our own GPUs down. Unfortunately, that is a couple months out, as we are going to find in just a moment. But this here is Enemies, a real-time rendered, I don't know on what class of hardware we're seeing this run, but real-time rendered in Unity. Now, they did something artistically with this I find a little bit weird, because otherwise it is a very extremely realistic looking digital human here, but they also kind of, for artistic reasons, have her kind of staring strangely off into space and not at the character or at the camera. So it gives you kind of this weird effect. You're going to see it in just a second. They always have her kind of off to the side there, and it kind of makes it look a little unrealistic to me, which is very strange, because the character itself is about as lifelike as you could get, to be honest. But that whole I'm doped up and staring into space decision they went with from an art direction, not sure why they went there. But if you take a look at the skin, they've done a lot of work in that regard, and realistically it is probably about as realistic as a digital avatar as I have seen as of yet. So if this would be running on today's 10 series GPUs or even 20 series GPUs, I'm going to be quite impressed. Now, there is not a lot of video here. We're only looking at about, I think it was a whole of 2 minutes total. Yeah, we're kind of at the end of it now. So that there, ladies and gentlemen, is Enemies. Now, the key part here is there is a blog to go along with it. We are going to get our hands on this eventually, but we got some of the details of what's going on. They do claim here it is all rendered in real time at 4K resolution. I don't believe they get into the hardware used to render it, but that is kind of where they're going. Now, you also know that Unreal Engine and Unity are both heavily focusing on film work as well, so it's going to be interesting how much they're going to push down that road. See here, this is this year's version of Heretic. The same demo team did a kind of real-time video last year. Eventually, you could download, I think, the majority of, if not all of that. That's going to be coming here as well. Same kind of stuff. It was, when the project was done, the tech was released as the Digital Humage package. There's going to be a Digital Human 2 as a result of this one. So in terms of Enemies, efforts went in 3 directions: developing a solution for hair, improving the realism of the face, and doing it all in the context of a real-time content piece. So more specifically, Enemies uses the entire feature set of Unity's high-definition render pipeline, screen space global illumination, SSGI, and the adaptive probe volumes, ray tracing, and NVIDIA's deep learning super sampling, and every other feature, big or small, that is relevant to our goal. So basically, this is a prototype showcasing the best of Unity's capabilities from a graphics perspective. They did a character, a person of different ethnicity with different facial features provides a set of challenges that we didn't tackle with the character Gwen in the Heretic. So for Enemies, they chose an actress in her 40s who fits the role from a narrative perspective and presented a new technical challenge. Lighter skin is more transparent, and blood flow is more visible on the skin as she moves to talk, so they develop tension tech to drive it. Wrinkles and are more pronounced and need special attention from a shading and lighting perspective. Eyes present their own subset of challenges, and I do kind of wonder a little bit if that's why they had her staring off into space. Again, an artistic decision I'm not 100% sold on. Facial peach fuzz or vellus hair added subtle but important realism to the shading, and made possible by moving the skin attachment system over to the GPU. We have a new hair solution here. It basically can use any Alembic source that they can import in for authoring, skinning, strand-based simulation and rendering of hair. They used Maya's XGen for the hair grooming themselves. The hair system will work with your shader of choice depending on the render pipeline you use, so it can work with the HDRP or the ERP or even the built-in render pipeline. So we're going to get much nicer hair shading coming up. So Unity developed hair shading in HDRP, which is similar to a model used in live action and animated films. It allows us to create heightened visual results in any light condition. Now, of course, you're going to have a hair shader in the universal render pipeline and it's built in, but it's not going to have the same level of graphic effect or fidelity, obviously. It let us render very thin strands of hair efficiently and reduce the amount of aliasing caused by strands not getting properly rasterized when they're too small on the screen. They used multi-sample visibility buffers to reduce the anti-aliasing very thin strands, and so on. So definitely hair was a big area. Now, of course, you're going to be sitting there going, well, when can I get my hands on it? And that's the bad news here. It's going to be a bit of time. It'll be a month or two where you'll see the release of the Digital Human 2 package, which contains all the updates and enhancements they made since they released the Heretic at the previous GDC. They will also release a package containing the strand-based hair system on GitHub. No date there, so that's going to be an upcoming thing, which, by the way, I will do a story on when it is live. So if you want to keep up to date, latest, greatest in the world of game development, well, that's what Game from Scratch is all about. Do hit that like and subscribe button, and I will let you know when these things actually happen. And the demo, so that's the technologies. I don't know about the demo itself, if they'll ever actually ship the whole demo so you can see it on your own hardware. There seems to be no commitments for that here. Most of the improvements in Unity that originated from the production of enemies or were directly adapted in it are already in Unity 2021.2. So in terms of a technology-based things, the things that you don't have access to that were used in this demo are the Digital Humans 2 package and the Hair package, which again, coming in a month or two and then coming at some point. And again, stay subscribed. I will let you know when those release, give you some hands-on when they actually come. Now, the demo itself, will you be able to run this on your own GPU? I don't know. But if you are at GDC yourself, you can actually stop by and see it in action. And if you do get the chance to go see it in action, find out what hardware it is running on and let me know in the comments down below. So that's the interesting thing. The demo, it will be available at the Unity booth, directly running in the Unity editor, so you can see it if you are there. I would be very, very interested to learn what caliber of machine we are dealing with here. Is this like 4090 hardware that isn't released to the public yet? I wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. But even still, this running at full 4K, 60 frames per second, real time, that is an impressive accomplishment, even if it is running on a Cray supercomputer. Is there Crays anymore? Anyways, that is it. That is the, what do they call this again? Enemies. Real-time teaser. The technology behind it coming in a month to two, and then a little bit beyond that. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to run this ourselves, so I don't know how much of this is smoke and mirrors, but it is definitely impressive. I'm actually curious to you, too. Are you a little bit weirded out by their decision to have her staring kind of blankly stoned off into space? Do you think it was to get around the problem of, like, looking at the camera, or do you think it was just an artistic choice? Let me know in comments down below, and let me know what you think of this trailer in general. By the way, this is the very first drop of content for GDC. Later on today, Unity does have their Future of Unity keynote as well, so stay tuned for that if you are interested in hearing what they have to say. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.